As someone who has sat on the board before, how would you feel about running with me, and are you comfortable with someone of my age being on the board potentially with you?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. The school district is really made up of students, staff members, parents, administrators, as like a full team, not to sound cliche. But everybody's at the board meetings except the students are not, their voice is not represented nearly enough in my opinion. As a student representative that was really sitting there like, hey, I'm here if you want to ask me about anything, and nobody did, I think it would be extremely valuable for you to be on the board when we're talking about anything, to say, well, Chad was just there.
One thing I've admired too is that you've given credit where it's due, and you've also provided solutions. One of my first memories, I remember when one of the board members made the motion to try to end live streaming. You actually spoke up very eloquently and said,
I think it would be a step in the wrong direction to get rid of recording the meetings. I could name a few students myself who would actually be inclined to record if possible, and I think it's important that if anyone misses a board meeting, for instance, both of my parents would never be able to make a meeting because they work full-time jobs.
And from that moment on, I thought, wow, that is the last thing I was doing when I was his age.
The findings of the committee were rejected by the board regarding the book ban, or moving the book from the middle school to the high school. And Chad was trying to speak at the table. He was told, well, you can go to the microphone, and then Chad said, okay, and he got up and he left his seat at the board table and he went to get online, and then Kaitlin allowed him to cut her.
I'm really horrified. I have to stand up at public comment to speak when I have a position right at the board with a microphone. It's ridiculous.
You can speak it for good if you want. You don't have to say it now.
Watching that and saying, wow, this student has real initiative, like he really cares about this stuff.
Sitting on the board, I had very low board experience, and I could still process and understand the issue and come to my own conclusions and think there's a lot of ways in which I could be doing this better. And even hearing certain phrases or certain decisions or certain actions that wanted to be proceeded in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I can't believe this is happening. And lo and behold, other people agree with me. And although I might not be the oldest or most experienced, I do feel like as a student, with the knowledge that I do have, I can make educated decisions on what's best for our schools, especially considering I just came from our schools. But I certainly know that I can reach students a lot better than our previous Board of Education. I feel like before I was student rep, there was no talk of the Board of Education. There's a lot that does need to be changed, and I think student participation is the biggest part of that.
The people that have been there, the people that have been showing up, have been actively involved, and who really know what's happening, who aren't following media talking points or culture war talking points, people that are actually engaged in what's happening in Sparta schools and our district. I think that's who deserves to be on that board.
Stop raising taxes.
Restore Sparta schools.
Vote 1, 2, and 3, Wood, Grana, Gagnon on November 7th.